we will get started in a few moments. Again, if we just take our seats, we will get the program started momentarily. Good evening, everyone, and welcome. My name is Matt Swyman. I am the current director of Alumni Relations, Associate Director of Admissions, and I am in the class of 1988. And I would just like to take a moment to welcome everyone to our inaugural Athletic Hall of Fame induction ceremony. As a former Tower Hill athlete and a letterman myself, I'm incredibly excited for this evening's festivities. I'm very happy and very proud and excited for our first class of inductees. Tower Hill has a storied history of excellence in athletics, as we know, with over 70 state titles, multiple Hiller Olympians, and a century-long commitment to physical education. To celebrate those achievements and contributions of exceptional athletes, coaches, the school has launched its first Tower Hill Athletic Hall of Fame. The Hall of Fame is made up of members of Tower Hill community who have distinguished themselves as extraordinary student athletes, coaches, faculty administrators, and contributors. A committee of alumni, coaches, faculty, past and present, reviewed over 30 nominations, weighing criteria such as athleticism, awards received, leadership, and overall impact on sports at Tower Hill. After spirited discussion and much deliberation, the list narrowed to 6 members who will be honored this evening. It is now my pleasure to introduce Steve Kochigalano, our Interim Director of Athletics, who will share a little bit more about Tower Hill Athletics. Steve?
Thanks, Matt. And good evening. As Matt said, my name is Steve Kochigalano. Athletics at Tower Hill have always been and continue to be a valued component of our curriculum. Some of the greatest lessons learned and fondest memories made by our students, both past and present, occurred during athletic practices and games. For this reason and many others, we have stayed true to the ideal of multiple sport participation by our students. And such participation has allowed Tower Hill to provide many different opportunities for students to engage in our program. Today in the upper school, we offer 23 different teams with varying sub-varsity levels across 14 different sports, which for a small school like ours is quite an accomplishment. There is no better testament to the historically robust athletic footprint than the over 1,100 team photos that line the halls leading to and underneath Weaver Gym. However, what has made athletics at Tower Hill so special is not just our level of participation, but our level of consistent success. Although there are many ways to measure success, championships won and accolades earned tend to be the most common measurement in athletics. So here are just a few notable examples. 73 total team championships won across 9 different sports. All-American and All-State honors earned while playing at Tower Hill. Collegiate and Olympic honors earned after graduating from Tower Hill. And a long history of alumni returning to serve as coaches at Tower Hill, including 6 current varsity head coaches. All of these examples suggest athletics at Tower Hill are strong, robust, and most importantly, valuable. Personally, as a former student athlete and current coach, knowing that what I am investing so much of my time in is valued makes all the difference. Events like tonight's induction and many future inductions to come ensure we continue to emphasize how much we value athletics at Tower Hill. The best way to inspire the current and future student athletes, coaches, administrators, and contributors to go out and make a lasting legacy is to honor those that donned the Tower Hill green and white in some of the most notable ways before them. I'd like to now invite Head of School Bessie Spears to the stage for a word of welcome and a special note about tonight's program before we get started with the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt Swyman and Steve Ketch. Welcome, everybody. Athletics, yes, play an incredible role at Tower Hill and in our storied 103-year history. Athletics are important to me personally, and one of the things that I just so proud and attracted me to Tower Hill was its multi-benefactor, its emphasis on a balance, on integrity and sportsmanship and hard work and practice and perseverance. And these are lifelong qualities that we learn as members of a team. My son graduated a couple years ago and is playing college athletics thanks to Tower Hill's athletic program. And I played college athletics 100 years ago. I also, in high school, I had a wonderful field hockey coach who really became a lifelong friend. And she died 2 years ago, but I would visit her each year in Maine. And Miss Simmons taught me lessons that each Tower Hill coach here teaches our students on a daily basis. So we're so fortunate to have incredibly committed coaches and teachers who coach as well. Teacher coaches, the triple threat model is something that I believe firmly is part of our secret sauce at Tower Hill. I forgot to say that Miss Simmons had a washboard stomach, and back then we played field hockey in little pleated skirts, and she would stand there with her pleated skirt and was fitter than any of us, and she played Olympic hockey before she coached us. So I just wanting to honor all the coaches in our lives who've made a big difference, and there are so many here at Tower Hill that have done so. And we're also proud of our student athletes and all that they accomplish. Before we get to honoring this year's inductees, I will say that, with 103 years under our belt, it's about time we created the Tower Hill Athletic Hall of Fame. So thank you for being here for our inaugural class, if you will. I wish that each of you had green and white pom-poms, because a couple hours ago, over on DeGroat Field, that incredible space that we have, the entire school was out for Founders Day and our pep rally. And if you could hear the school spirit, and one thing that athletics do is really help us recognize community and being together and school spirit. So this Hall of Fame is really important to us, and we want to make sure that we honor people over the years in the future. So help us to do that by sending us ideas and loving our coaches and student athletes. In the house, under the tent, I believe that we have a former athletic director of Tower Hill School, and that would be Mr. Jack Holloway. Thank you, Jack, for being here and for all that you did for Tower Hill athletics over your tenure at Tower Hill. If there's someone who's competitive and but a total softie underneath, it's Jack Holloway, and I love that combination in our coaches as well. The other person that we have under the tent, actually we're just going to go with a theme of Jacks here, is Jack Smith, who has done everything at Tower Hill. Who also pitched myself and is not here. But anyway, come out tomorrow night for the Founders Achievement Award, and we'll be honoring Jack Smith for all that he's done for the school. And then I'll switch from the Jacks to Harry, and that would be Harry Bacher, who was from the school. Who still is out there with the chains for the football games, and so far he hasn't got thrown out by the officials. There's a story he can tell you about getting involved while holding the chains. But Harry, thanks for being here and for rooting the green and white on always. I also believe that some of you have traveled from near and far. We have Ann Cassels from California. We have Mr. Yules from Franconia, New Hampshire, class of '53. Thank you so much. And many others who I'm not naming, but who we feel so honored to have people that really traveled to be here for this. So tonight, we salute 6 incredible Hillers who have contributed so much to Tower Hill's athletic legacy. But I'd like to take a moment to honor, in a special way, one of our inductees who is no longer with us. As many of you know, Rudy Carpenter, class of 1958, recently passed away just a few short weeks ago. Ruly was a pillar of Tower Hill and a devoted trustee, alum, athlete, parent, grandparent, supporter, and loyal fan. And over the years, he spent hours in the stands and on the sidelines cheering on the green and white. Ruly cared deeply about Tower Hill and was an inspiration and friend to all of us. He loved athletics, and he will be sorely missed. And at this time, Ruly's family has just requested that we postpone his induction until they can be here to receive it in his honor. So we will certainly keep you posted with that. At this time, I'd like to ask our Director of Advancement and Enrollment Management, Kristin Mumford, a wonderful colleague who also is quite competitive and has a daughter about to compete on the volleyball court tonight, to the stage to present our first inductee this evening. Kristin.
It is wonderful to see you here, and thank you so much for joining us for this very special evening. It is my honor to honor our first inductee of the evening, Caitlin Van Sickle, class of 2008. Caitlin, also known as Poppy, is one of the most successful athletes in Tower Hill's history. Caitlin was a 12-season athlete throughout her high school athletic career and is proud to be a Tower Hill Green and White Award recipient. During her Tower Hill career, and played on 7 championship teams. In lacrosse, she was recognized as the Delaware State Player of the Year her senior year. She hit the 1,000-point mark and was recognized as a McDonald's All-American candidate in basketball during her senior year. And to top it all off, in field hockey, Caitlin was named the Delaware State Player of the Year in both her junior and senior years. Caitlin continued her stellar field hockey career at UNC Chapel Hill, her dream school since her childhood. She was a 3-time field hockey first team All-American, a 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, a 3-time team MVP, and served as team captain her senior year, culminating in winning a national championship. Following her collegiate career, Caitlin made the U.S. Olympic field hockey team and competed in the Rio Olympics in 2016, scoring a game-winning goal against Australia. She also competed in multiple Pan American Game competitions, winning gold in 2015. She currently serves as the assistant field hockey coach at Princeton University. We are certainly very proud of Caitlin and all of her.
this is quite an honor to be her mom and get to stand up here. She's actually coaching right now. Princeton is playing Yale this evening at Princeton. But she did send this note, and I'm going to just read it to you. So she says, first, good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I wanted to say how deeply sad that I cannot be here in person today, but I am thankful that my mom is able to stand in my place on such a special occasion. Thank you to the Tower Hill community as a whole for putting on such a wonderful homecoming event, and a special thank you to the nominating committee for honoring me in the inaugural Hall of Fame class. I can't say I was expecting any of this, but feel honored and blessed to have such an amazing 12 plus years at Tower Hill. Tower Hill encouraged and challenged me to be a three-sport athlete. This diversity allowed me to develop my skills as I went on to the next level. I am a proud recipient of the Green and White Award. My experiences and friendships at Tower Hill School shaped me into who I am today, and I carry those memories with me wherever I go. I would like to thank all of my teachers, coaches, and all of the support professionals, my classmates, my teammates throughout the years, but most importantly, my family for always supporting my sister and me in anything we wanted to do. That is the true meaning of support, and I always felt that my parents always had my back. A special thank you to Miss Rich, who sent me home in second grade with a cut-down field hockey stick. That's where it all started. I'm pretty sure she had her sister with it, but that's the version. Thank you again, Head of School Spears and the entire Tower Hill staff for organizing this day. I am humbled and honored to be a part of the inaugural Hall of Fame class and cannot wait to see who will be inducted in the coming years. Go Hillers, but especially go Green. Thank you.
Here she comes. Wiz needs no introduction.
As a four-sport athlete at Braintree High School, Betty Richardson played field hockey, basketball, softball, and tennis. In 1966, the News Journal had of amateur golfers as she won her 5th Delaware Women's Amateur Golf Championship. Clearly, she was an athletic phenomenon in her own right. Yet not all superior athletes know the secret sauce for becoming transformational coaches, but Miss Rich does. She began her Tower Hill career in the fall of 1952 and retired 44 years later. Well, technically only 42 years later, as she mistakenly believed the grass was greener elsewhere and left Tower Hill in 1961, only to return in 1963 with a newfound appreciation for all things green and white. In the 1960s, Miss Rich coached all the girls' sports, was the only coach for all levels, and actually refereed her own games while coaching. Talk about living the school's multi-benefactor model. By consecutive state titles in 1980, 81, and 82. Tower Hill field hockey players ever wanted to be on the receiving end of firm words from Miss Rich. We simply did not want to disappoint her in any way. Yes, there was emphasis upon winning, but even greater value was placed upon how we picked ourselves up after stumbling. In her role as girls' athletic director, Betty was a trailblazingly fierce advocate for making sure that whatever the boys got, the girls got. Harry's shaking his head. She held true to her values, and the bar was high. As a young coach, I was indoctrinated into the Betty Richardson School of very meticulous inventory keeping, and was taught how to wash every single field hockey ball and lacrosse ball
every year. Each June, I remain true to this ritual and break out the comet and scrubber, and I channel Betty's thrifty and practical New England upbringing. Betty truly wanted to be here this evening, but felt at age 91 that it was best to avoid large crowds. Betty has recently relented and now has someone cutting her grass. But she still drives and still loves being a starter at the 9-hole Monchannon course over at DuPont Country Club. She wanted all of you to know the following, and I quote, "I am filled with such appreciation for all that Tower Hill has done for me. Gosh, a field with my name on it, a Founder's Achievement Award, and now this? I'd like everyone to know that really it's the people in the department, both PE and athletics, who I've worked with over the years. Patty Marshall, Deb Kaiser, Nancy Swain, Julie Sherrard, and so many, many others who deserve recognition. We were a team and we were family. Betty, we are filled with deep appreciation and admiration. Clearly, the main ingredient in your secret sauce was teaching. You always said how much you loved teaching the little ones. And so many of your little ones, now big ones, would say, you were the tether for our green and white balloons, grounding us in comfort and security, while simultaneously stretching and pushing us to the sky. Thank you, and congratulations on being inducted into Tower Hill's Inaugural Athletics Hall of Fame.
So next we have Mr. Steve Heissen. I just can't refer to him as Steve, so I'm going to go with Mr. Heissen. Was a graduate of Tower Hill in 1959 and a successful Tower Hill coach for more than 15 years. As an athlete, Mr. Hyde lettered in football for 2 years, basketball for 2 years, and baseball for 3 years. He represented Tower Hill in the Blue Gold football game in 1959 and was a recipient of the Boys Home and School Award in 1959. Upon graduation, Mr. Hyde attended Williams College, where he lettered in both football and baseball for 3 years. Mr. Hyde was a head football coach from 1974 to 1988, winning 6 conference titles, and was the head baseball coach from 1981 to 2000. During those years, he led the baseball program to 12 independent conference titles, 10 state tournament appearances, and a state championship in 1987. Mr. Hyde was part of 228 wins during his 20 years as both assistant and head baseball coach. Before I invite Mike Hyde, class of 1987, the son of Mr. Hyde, and my TH football, basketball, and football teammate of mine to the stage, I wanted to share with you a quick story I learned recently from a fellow alum, Mr. Mo Holden, class of 1985. Mo shared with me that in the summer of 1984, it was Mr. Hyde who encouraged Mo and his parents to visit some colleges, in particular, Williams College, where Mr. Hyde had once, in college. Upon visiting Williams College, Mr. Hyde told him, I think it would be a good opportunity for you to play football, and I think you would do very well there. Mo shared with me that he loved the campus, the coaches he met, and he returned to Tower Hill in preseason, apprehensive about making such a move to Williams, as he had never been outside of Wilmington before. Mo asked Mr. Hyde, is it even possible for me to do this? Is it even possible for me to attend Williams? Coach said, I know you can do this. Mo shared with me that no one had ever shared those words in such confidence in him before. Upon attending Williams College, Mo double majored, played under 2 Hall of Fame football coaches, and had played on 2 undefeated football teams with Mr. Mike Hyde, again, Mr. Hyde's son. And he had an opportunity to travel to Japan, where he met his wife and started his career. Mo said to me, there are not many opportunities in life where you have a chance to encounter a great mentor. When you encounter a great mentor like Mr. Hyde, you listen. So without further ado, I'd like to invite Mr. Michael Hyde, Mr. Steve Heissen, class of 1987, to come up and accept his award.
we have to come up. Thank you, Matt, for that wonderful introduction. It's a great privilege and a pleasure to be back at Tower Hill to accept this honor on behalf of my father. My sister Kate and I are the only two that can make it down for this celebration. Let me begin by congratulating all of the honorees this evening. I know my father feels humbled to be part of this inaugural group. I also wanted to thank Tower Hill for creating this Hall of Fame, as it speaks volumes about the values and respect that the school places on athletics. I look forward to celebrating all of the future honorees with the rest of the Tower Hill community in the years to come. Unfortunately, my parents could not attend this grand occasion this evening. They have retired in Williamstown, Massachusetts, to be closer to my sisters Alex and Kate and their numerous grandchildren. My father has been dealing with Alzheimer's for the past few years and has slowly taken its toll on his memory. I will say that my father was quite excited to be recognized by the school, but he immediately said Rudy Carpenter was truly deserving of the honor. Tower Hill has had such an impact on my father's life. Most do not know that my father lost his father when he was only 4 years old. His closest sibling in age was his older brother Arthur, who was 7 years older than him. So by the time my dad was in middle school at Tower Hill, he was the only one left in the household. So there was a huge void in his life. And I believe Tower Hill helped fill that void. I believe more specifically, sports at Tower Hill did. They allowed him to play football, basketball, and baseball. He had great coaches who encouraged him to compete and excel. He loved his teammates and finally remembers almost all of his games, especially the victories. My father's second act at Tower Hill enabled him to return home to Delaware to teach and coach. He considered himself fortunate to have been able to coach both the varsity football and baseball teams during his time at school. He cherished the opportunity to coach all of the young men who played for him, from the 6 conference titles on the football field to the 1987 state baseball championship. Coaching for Tower Hill meant everything to him. I've always said my father bleeds green and white. I will leave you with this one story. While my father continues to battle Alzheimer's at home, he is obsessed with his Tower Hill yearbooks. He will show us team photos, he can remember his teammates, their numbers. Ruly Carpenter was the best pitcher, Pat Williams was the smartest catcher, Bill Wood was a good shooter, Johnny Peterson played center. So even at this stage of his life, Tower Hill evokes his fondest memories. So thank you, Tower Hill, for all you've done for my father and our family. It truly holds a special place in his heart. Thank you.
It is my pleasure to introduce Ken Williams, class of 1976. He was the first Delaware high school athlete to triple jump 46 feet. He also still holds the state record in the 180-yard low hurdles, which was discontinued after the 1975 state meet. He won 9 state track championships. In 1976, he set the Newcastle County meet records in all 3 of his events: high hurdles, intermediate hurdles, and triple jump. Perhaps the most remarkable single meet performance a Tower Hill track athlete has ever seen. Ken broke Al Nichols' career basketball scoring record. On the football team, he was an electrifying running back who was twice all-conference on both offense and defense. Ken was also a 5-time Tower Hill team captain and winner of the 1976 Tower Hill Home and School Senior Athlete of the Year Award. At the University of Pennsylvania, he went on to score 7 times in high hurdles in the heptagonal conference championship meets. This includes wins indoors and outdoors his junior and senior year. He also scored 3 times in the IC4A championship meet. He also co-captained the 1981 team, which won the indoor heptagonal meet. Ken was able to accomplish all of this in spite suffering a serious ankle injury during the Blue Gold football game during his senior year at Tower Hill. Ken is also a current member of the Delaware Track and Field Hall of Fame. At this time, I'd like to invite Ken Williams up to the stage to accept his award.
Circumstances we got postponed, but we're all here now. So I'd just like to say thank you for all the hard work in making this thing happen. As I look out in the crowd, I see some classmates, which I'd like to thank for showing up and sharing this honor with me. I love you all for being here. I'd like to also congratulate the other inductees. I wish they could all be here tonight, but it's a great honor and privilege to be inducted with them in this first class of the Tower Hill Athletic Hall of Fame. I'd like to say a couple of words on some of my coaches here. I'd like to start with my coach, Steve Heissen. I give Steve all the credit in the world for trusting my athletic ability and letting me run the ball a lot. Enjoyed it all. I wish he could be here tonight. When this thing first started, I was looking forward to being on stage with him and having a great picture and enjoying the time. He was always there for me. Next, I'd like to thank my basketball coach, John Peterson, who passed away several years ago. John gave me the opportunity to play varsity as a freshman. Wasn't that good at that time, but that helped me throughout the years to become a pretty good basketball player, so I thank John for that. I also want to thank his wife, Liz, who also passed away, who somehow let Coach Peterson invite our basketball team twice a year for dinner. She made shepherd's pie, and we ate like pigs. She must have took weeks to recover from those activities, but we all had a good time. I'd also like to thank my track coach, Bob Bear, who passed away earlier this year. He was a good friend to me. He was the only coach that I had who was also a teacher. So I'm not really sure if he pushed me harder in the classroom or on the track. But either way, I thank him for doing that. It got me to where I got to athletically and educational-wise. He tried to get me to go to Williams, believe it or not. But I went up for a visit, it was too cold. So I ended up going to Penn. It was a great experience, but Coach Bear was always there for me. When my son was running track in high school, I would send him videos and say, "What's he doing wrong?" Because Julie wouldn't listen to me. But if I said, "This is my track coach," and he said, "You need to do this," he'd listen sometimes. So all those were great experiences dealing with the coaches, dealing with my classmates. And next, I'd like to just acknowledge my wife, Martha, and my son, Wesley, who are here with me tonight. My other son, Julie, and Brandon couldn't make it. But I just want, especially for my sons who had to deal with me coaching them in recreational flag football, basketball, and baseball for about 10 years. This is where it all came from, guys. Thank you.
I'd like to invite Ted LeFevre to the stage, who's going to introduce his mother, Nancy Keith LeFevre, class of 1953.
My mother, Nancy Keith LeFevre, is the only Tower Hill athlete to have achieved 16 varsity letters during her Tower Hill athletic career. She lettered 6 years in field hockey, starting in 1947 and was captain of her team's senior year. She received 5 varsity letters in basketball and was a captain in 10th grade in 1951. Additionally, Nancy earned 3 varsity letters in softball and 2 in tennis. Mom was very modest about her skills and an example to all of her teammates of great sportsmanship. Class and teammate Holly Trentman Day shared this about her friend. We were undefeated in basketball our senior year and lost only 1 game our junior year. We also, in our senior year, only lost 1 game in field hockey, and that was because the game was called at the half because of rain. We were behind by 1 goal and just never had a chance to recover in the second. Nancy was all the best one could ever want for a teammate. She never complained about anything. She was wonderful. After graduating from Tower Hill, Nancy went on to attend Connecticut College, where she graduated in 1957, and Boston University, from which she graduated in 1969. And one final fact, many of you may not know that our family's connection to Tower Hill predates my mother's time at school. Her mother, Mrs. Mae Thompson Keith, was a teacher at Tower Hill in the 1930s. And with that, I'd like to welcome my mother.
Now, at this point, I carry this with me most places, but I particularly want to acknowledge how much it meant to me to have Betty Richardson as a coach, and also Marilyn O'Neill, who came down from Connecticut area. Her father was head of the Coast Guard Academy, I think, at one point. And one person whose name has not been mentioned, but she also coached when I was here, and she lived just down the street from the school, and that was Jane Herring. You know, she was a wonderful person. So we all had the benefit of wonderful people, and I appreciate this honor very much. I couldn't get out there in the field now and play sports the way I used to. And one thing that helped me was that the school was small, and many people sent their children away to boarding school. And I was brought up to the upper school gym classes from middle school because they didn't have enough people to put on the field for the teams. So there I was, and I was this tall, if not a little bit taller for basketball, and it was a great life. And I made many friends, and some of them are sitting right out here in the front row with me now, and it's wonderful. Thank you all very much.
So once again, if we could just give a round of applause to all our inductees. Again, I want to say congratulations to the first class of Tower Hill Athletic Hall of Fame inductees, and thank you for everyone who presented this evening, and thank you for all those that attended. Before I kind of wrap up this portion of the ceremony, I would like to take a moment, if I could, just to recognize and have, if I could, Paul Pedrick, who is our current president of our Green and White Club. If you want to come up here, Paul, for a moment. The Green and White Club is a big supporter of Tower Hill sports, all sports. They're an integral part to kind of allowing us to do what we do as such a small but mighty group. But once again, As we close out, as Paul comes up, I want to thank everyone. For the inductees, if you would like to have, we have a special box we can put your trophy in so you don't have to carry it around with you. I also encourage everyone to kind of peruse the table to my right here. There's some great pictures and photos and some other memorabilia that our inductees have brought with them this evening. So again, thank everyone for attending, and next on our microphone will be Paul Pedrick, the president of Greenland White Club.
Thank you, Matt. So I graduated Tower Hill in 1984. I played football under the tutelage of Coach Hyde, Coach Bacher, and Coach Peterson, and those were memories I'll never forget. I currently have 2 boys in Tower Hill, and I have a daughter who graduated from Tower Hill and is now playing soccer in college at Davidson College. Tower Hill is still a big part of my life on a daily basis. And so I got involved in the Green and White Club because I wanted to help further support the athletic program that meant so much to me and means so much to my kids. Miss Applegate, actually being the amazing history teacher that she is, was doing some research in the archives and was able to, looking at old yearbooks and some other articles, actually triangulate that the Green and White Club was first founded in 1978. Back then, the budget for the Green and White Club, they raised about $10,000 a year to give gifts out to help the athletic programs for things that were not necessarily covered in the existing athletics budget. Fast forward 43 years later, and right now our budget is a little bit bigger. So far this year, we have committed or donated $30,000 worth of gifts. Those came in the form of, and it's only October 2nd, October 1st. Those came in the form of a blocking sled for the football team. We also have some sort of, I would guess, shelter tents that are used primarily for like the cross-country team on a rainy day or on a particularly hot and sunny day. Other teams can use it as well. And we are just rolling out now what we're calling the Spirit Budget Gift. And basically what we're doing is we're going to be donating a budget amount to every Tower Hill Athletics team so that they can put it towards things that traditionally parents have paid for to raise team spirit. And that's snacks, that's pizza parties, that is pom-poms, that's cowbells, whatever it might be, because we think that also part of our duty is to help teams raise spirit and team spirit and school spirit. A lot has changed in 43 years, but a lot of it remains the same. We're doing it for the same cause. So I just want to say that if our group is composed of parents and coaches, teachers, administration, and alumni, and also friends of Tower Hill. So if you have any interest in being a part of the Green and White Club, we would really welcome it. You can go to a website called greenandwhiteclub.com and you can join. And I know I'm looking at some people who have already joined, who are alumni. So that's it. Thank you very much for coming tonight.
I want to really thank Paul for his all the time that he puts into Green and White, and he has a quiet, steady way of really leading that club, and thank you, Paul, for that. I also wanted to take a moment just to thank the team that put this whole thing together, and that would be my colleagues over at that table. If you guys could stand and we could appreciate it. Thank you for putting this whole thing together for us. Linda Alban, Melissa Pizarro, Liz Applegate, and any on the committee, on the induction committee. Thank you so much. Be sure to show up for volleyball tonight at 7 and then a whole series of games tomorrow. Go Hillers!